video on perfection paralysis. This is video number 1 in our series. I'm Sherry Rothwell.
And I'm Beth Martins.
And we're so excited to have you here on today's call, where we're going to talk about that dirty little secret you have about perfection paralysis. Do you want to let them in on it, Beth?
Yeah, because we might be aware of how our own demand for our own perfection stops us in our tracks and stops us from doing the things that we really want to do. But what we might not be as aware of is how we're actually doing that to others and applying that same standard, that same judgment, and that same ultimately withholding of love that takes place when we see others not being perfect too.
It's so true, because when you think about it, when you're in an experience where you're looking at someone else and what they're doing, there's this feeling that underneath that you could do it better, okay? And that's the thing that actually keeps you from getting started, because you're looking at what you see out there and you're seeing how in your mind it could be perfect, but yet you've never done it before. So on the other hand, there's this doubting that you could do it to the level of perfection that you're projecting on to other people. Okay, so part of this game of getting out of being stopped by perfection paralysis is to start to appreciate others, appreciate what other people are doing instead of judging them. Okay, because you're going to be able to actually do the same for yourself by practicing doing it on other people.
Exactly. And if you want a shortcut for how to actually appreciate people, because it's easy to say, oh, just appreciate them. But if you don't have the feeling of appreciation, it can be like, well, where do we go from here? I feel like I'm judging. And so guess what? Judgment is a form of pride. It's one of the non-loving emotions, but it's actually really high energy, despite how destructive it can be. So it's just one little jump into courageousness. It's one little jump into saying, you know what, I'm going to let my own ego just take a little break here, and I'm going to unabashedly, because it takes courage to love someone else, especially when maybe they don't appear perfect or they're not doing what you want them to do, or whatever reason you have for withholding love. So by jumping into that place of being courageous and just saying, I'm going to 100% unconditionally support this person, even just with my energy right now. I'm going to stop and go like, wow, look what they've accomplished. Then you're really positioned to start doing that for yourself, to give yourself that same break.
Okay, so the practice to take away from this video is to start looking around you, and instead of despairing and comparing and either throwing yourself in the ditch because you think other people are way better than you, or putting other people down because they're not meeting your standards. What you're gonna do is literally just go out there, start participating in other people's workshops, if you're an artist, looking at other people's art and just looking at what other people are doing and appreciating it about them. Okay? And as you continue to do that practice, you're going to be able to turn that on yourself so that you can step forward into the work that you're doing in the world without worrying about the comparison, like who it's better than, who it's not good enough for, and just really start getting present with how it is and what's good about it right now. And then that way what you're doing is you're actually building on what you've already created and taking it continually to the next level instead of stopping yourself from getting started because of some intense expectation that you should come out of the starting gate perfect and a superstar.
Exactly. And one of the beautiful side effects that you're going to notice is you're going to have way more energy, because it costs us a lot, as right as pride feels. It's like Sherry said, some of the people we feel that we're so much better than them, other people we feel we're so much greater. It's actually the same pride. And there's a huge energy cost to be in that pride place. The moment you jump into courageousness, you've jumped into receiving energy from the universe, in receiving an infusion for, guess what, the action that you need to take. And it's suddenly going to feel easy for you when you're not all tied up in that I'm better than, I'm worse than pride.
All right, so now that your dirty little secret is out of the bag, it's time to go practice and turn that around. All right, bye for now.
Bye-bye.